Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others struggle? What if I told you there's a way to bring wealth into your life just by changing how you think? It might sound too good to be true, but there's a powerful idea called the law of assumption that can transform your financial future. This isn't about working harder or finding some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about tapping into a force that's already within you, your mind. Imagine being able to shape your reality simply by assuming you already have what you want. That's the core of the law of assumption. It's like having a magic wand that can turn your dreams into reality. But here's the catch. You need to know how to use it properly. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. Think about it. What if you could wake up tomorrow feeling as confident and secure as a millionaire? How would that change the way you approach your day, your work, and your relationships? The law of assumption suggests that by truly believing and feeling as if you're already wealthy, you start to attract wealth into your life. It's not about pretending or lying to yourself. It's about shifting your mindset in a profound way. Now you might be thinking, that sounds great, but how does it actually work? Well, that's what we're here to uncover. We're going to dive deep into this powerful concept and learn how to use it to unlock wealth in your life. But before we do that, let's talk about the man who brought this idea to light. Neville Goddard wasn't your typical spiritual teacher. Born in 1905 in Barbados, he came to the United States as a young man to study theater. But his life took an unexpected turn when he discovered the power of the mind. Neville became fascinated with the idea that our thoughts and beliefs shape our reality. Neville wasn't interested in fancy rituals or complex philosophies. He focused on one simple but powerful idea, that your imagination creates your reality. He believed that what you assume to be true becomes true in your life. This was the foundation of what he called the law of assumption. Think of Neville as a coach for your mind. He taught people how to use their imagination to create the life they wanted. He didn't just talk about getting rich or finding love. He showed people how to change their entire lives by changing their thoughts and beliefs. What made Neville different from other teachers was his practical approach. He didn't just tell people to think positive thoughts. He gave them specific techniques to change their mindset and, as a result, change their lives. His teachings were simple but powerful. Neville's ideas might seem a bit out there at first. After all, can you really change your life just by changing your thoughts? But think about it. Have you ever noticed how your mood affects your day? When you're feeling confident and positive, don't things seem to go more smoothly? That's a small taste of what Neville was talking about. Now you might be wondering, if this is so powerful, why isn't everyone using it? Well, that's the thing. Many people are using it, but they're doing it unconsciously. They're assuming negative things about themselves and their lives, and those assumptions are shaping their reality. What Neville taught was how to use this power consciously to create the life you want. Neville's teachings aren't just about getting rich. They're about understanding the incredible power of your own mind. But today, we're going to focus on how you can use his ideas to attract wealth into your life. Because let's face it, having financial security can open up a lot of opportunities and reduce stress in your life. So, what exactly is this law of assumption that Neville Goddard talked about? Simply put, it's the idea that what you assume to be true becomes your reality. It's like your mind is a powerful magnet, attracting experiences that match your deepest beliefs and assumptions. Let's break it down a bit. Think about how you see yourself right now. Do you see yourself as someone who struggles with money, always worrying about bills? Or do you see yourself as someone who is financially secure, with opportunities coming your way. The law of assumption says that whichever view you hold will be reflected in your life. It's not just about positive thinking, it's deeper than that. It's about fully embodying the feeling of already having what you want. If you want to be wealthy, the law of assumption says you need to think, feel, and act as if you're already wealthy. Now you might be thinking, but I'm not wealthy. How can I assume I am when my bank account says otherwise? That's where the power of this law comes in. It's about changing your inner world first, trusting that the outer world will follow. Imagine you're an actor playing the role of a wealthy person. How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you make decisions? The law of assumption asks you to play this role in your real life, not just pretending, but truly feeling and believing it. Here's an example. Let's say you want to double your income. Instead of focusing on how hard it is or how far away it seems, you would start assuming that you already have that income. You'd think about how it feels to have that money in your bank account. You'd make plans for what you'd do with it. You'd feel the relief and excitement of having achieved your goal. But it's not just about daydreaming. The law of assumption suggests that this new mindset will lead you to take different actions. You might start noticing opportunities you didn't see before. You might feel more confident in asking for a raise or starting a side business. Your whole approach to money could change. Now, this might sound a bit like magical thinking, but there's actually some science behind it. Our brains have something called the reticular activating system, RAS. It's like a filter that decides what information to pay attention to. When you assume something to be true, your RAS starts looking for evidence to support that belief. So by assuming you're wealthy, you start noticing more opportunities for wealth. The law of assumption isn't about ignoring reality, it's about choosing which reality you want to focus on and bring into your life. It's like tuning a radio to the station you want to hear. You're tuning your mind to the frequency of wealth and abundance. One important thing to understand about the law of assumption is that it works with your subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. When you vividly imagine something, especially with emotion, your subconscious takes it as real. And since your subconscious drives a lot of your behavior, this can lead to real changes in your life. Think about it like planting a seed. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust that if you've planted it correctly and keep watering it, it will grow. The law of assumption works the same way. You plant the assumption in your mind, nurture it with your thoughts and feelings, and trust that it will manifest in your life. But here's the catch. It's not always easy. Our minds are often filled with doubts and negative assumptions. We've been conditioned by past experiences and societal beliefs. Changing these deep-seated assumptions takes practice and persistence. It's like learning a new skill. At first, it might feel awkward or unnatural, but with time and practice, it becomes second nature. The law of assumption isn't about denying your current reality. If you have bills to pay, you still need to pay them. If you're in debt, you still need to address it, but it's about changing your perspective on these situations. Instead of seeing them as proof that you'll always struggle with money, you can see them as temporary situations that you're moving through on your way to wealth. One powerful way to apply the law of assumption is through visualization. Spend time each day visualizing yourself living the wealthy life you desire. See yourself making big financial decisions with ease. Feel the comfort and security of having more than enough money. The more real you can make these visualizations, the more powerful they become. Another technique is to change your language. Instead of saying, "I want to be wealthy," say, "I am wealthy." Instead of, "I hope to pay off my debts," say, "I am debt-free." Your words shape your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your reality. It's also important to pay attention to your emotions. The law of assumption isn't just about thinking different thoughts, it's about feeling different feelings. When you think about wealth, do you feel excited and grateful, or do you feel anxious and doubtful? Work on cultivating the positive emotions associated with wealth. Now you might be wondering, if this is so powerful, why doesn't everyone use it to become wealthy? Well, the truth is, we're all using the law of assumption all the time. The problem is, many of us are assuming negative things. We assume we'll always struggle with money, or that wealth is for other people, not us. These negative assumptions shape our reality just as powerfully as positive ones. The key is to become aware of your assumptions and consciously choose the ones that serve you. It's about taking control of your mental narrative. Instead of letting your mind run on autopilot, repeating old stories of lack and limitation, you actively choose to assume abundance and wealth. But here's an important point. The law of assumption isn't about magical thinking. It's not saying that if you assume you're wealthy, money will suddenly appear in your bank account. What it does is change your perspective, your decisions, and your actions. When you assume wealth, you start thinking like a wealthy person. You make different choices. You see opportunities you might have missed before. For example, if you assume you're wealthy, you might start thinking about investments rather than just paying bills. You might network with different people or take calculated risks you wouldn't have considered before. You might even get an idea for a business that could actually create wealth for you. The law of assumption also changes how you react to setbacks. If you assume you're destined for wealth, a financial setback becomes a temporary obstacle rather than proof that you'll always struggle. This resilience can be crucial in building long-term wealth. It's also worth noting that the law of assumption isn't just about material wealth. It's about abundance in all areas of life. When you assume abundance, you might find that not only does your financial situation improve, but your relationships, health, and overall happiness do too. It's about shifting from a mindset of lack to one of plenty. One powerful way to reinforce your new assumptions is through affirmations. These are positive statements that you repeat to yourself regularly. For example, I am a money magnet, or wealth flows to me easily and abundantly. At first, these might feel false or uncomfortable, but remember, you're retraining your subconscious mind. With repetition, these new beliefs start to feel natural. Another technique is to act as if your assumption is already true. If you assumed you were wealthy, how would you carry yourself? How would you dress? How would you treat others? By acting as if, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind and to the world around you. It's also important to be grateful for what you already have. Gratitude is like a magnet for abundance. When you appreciate what you have, no matter how small, you're assuming a stance of wealth. You're telling the universe, I have enough and I'm ready for more. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but what about taking action? You're absolutely right. The law of assumption isn't about sitting back and waiting for wealth to magically appear. It's about aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with your assumption of wealth. When you assume wealth, you'll feel inspired to take actions that align with that assumption. You might feel motivated to learn about investing or to start a side business. You might have the confidence to ask for a raise or to raise your prices if you're self-employed. The law of assumption provides the mindset, but it's your actions that bring it into reality. It's also important to be patient. Just like a seed needs time to grow into a plant, your assumptions need time to manifest in your reality. Don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Keep assuming wealth, keep taking inspired action, and trust in the process. Remember, the law of assumption is a tool, and like any tool, it becomes more effective with practice. Don't expect perfection from the start. It's normal for doubts and old beliefs to crop up. When they do, gently redirect your thoughts back to your assumption of wealth. One powerful practice is to end each day by assuming that wealth is flowing to you while you sleep. As you lie in bed, feel the excitement and gratitude of knowing that you're becoming wealthier every day. This puts your subconscious mind to work on manifesting wealth even while you rest. It's also helpful to surround yourself with reminders of wealth and abundance. This could be images of the lifestyle you're assuming, inspiring quotes about wealth, or even a vision board. These visual cues help reinforce your assumption throughout the day. Step 1. Believe you already have it. The first step in applying the law of assumption is to truly believe you already have what you want. This might sound strange at first. After all, how can you believe you're wealthy when your bank account says otherwise? But this is where the real power of the law of assumption comes in. Think about it like this. Your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. When you consistently believe and feel as if you're already wealthy, your mind starts to accept this as your reality. And when your mind accepts something as real, it starts to look for ways to make it true in your physical world. So how do you start believing you already have wealth? It begins with your thoughts. Pay attention to how you think about money. Do you often worry about not having enough? Do you feel anxious when you think about your finances? These thoughts and feelings are actually assumptions that you're making about your financial situation. To change this, start by catching yourself when you have these negative thoughts. When you notice them, pause and consciously replace them with thoughts of abundance. Instead of thinking, "I never have enough money," try thinking, "Money flows to me easily and abundantly." Instead of worrying about bills, imagine yourself easily paying them with plenty left over. But it's not just about positive thinking. It's about feeling it too. Close your eyes and imagine how it would feel to have all the wealth you desire. Feel the sense of security, the excitement, the freedom. The more real you can make this feeling, the more powerful it becomes. One effective technique is to create a wealth scene in your mind. This is a vivid mental picture of what your life looks like now that you're wealthy. Maybe you see yourself in a beautiful home, or traveling the world, or donating to causes you care about. Make this scene as detailed as possible. What do you see? What sounds do you hear? What does it feel like? Practice visualizing this scene regularly, especially before you go to sleep at night and right after you wake up in the morning. Another powerful tool is to use "I am" statements. These are short, powerful phrases that affirm your new assumption of wealth. For example, "I am wealthy," "I am financially free," or "I am a money magnet." Repeat these to yourself throughout the day, especially when you catch yourself thinking negatively about money. Remember, the goal here isn't to lie to yourself or ignore your current financial situation. It's about shifting your focus from what is to what can be. You're not denying your current reality, you're choosing to put your energy and attention on the reality you want to create. It's also important to act as if you already have this wealth. How would a wealthy person carry themselves? How would they make decisions? Start incorporating these behaviors into your daily life. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have. It means adopting the mindset and habits of someone who is financially secure. For example, a wealthy person might take time to learn about investments, or they might be more selective about how they spend their time. They might have a different approach to problem solving, seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. Start incorporating these kinds of behaviors into your life. This step of believing you already have it is crucial because it sets the foundation for everything else. When you truly believe and feel that you're wealthy, you'll naturally start to take actions that align with this belief. You'll be more open to opportunities, more confident in your abilities, and more likely to make decisions that lead to actual wealth. The second step in applying the law of assumption is to live from the end. This means living your life as if your desire has already been fulfilled. In this case, it means living as if you're already wealthy. Living from the end is about more than just positive thinking or visualizing. It's about fully embodying the person you would be if you had already achieved your goal of wealth. It's about aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the version of you who has already achieved financial abundance. So, how do you live from the end when it comes to wealth? Start by asking yourself some questions. If you were already wealthy, how would you spend your time? How would you treat yourself and others? What kind of decisions would you make? How would you feel as you go about your day? For example, a wealthy person might start their day with a sense of calm and confidence, knowing that their financial needs are more than met. They might take time for self-care, knowing that their well-being is a valuable asset. They might approach work with enthusiasm, seeing it as a way to grow their wealth rather than just earn a paycheck. Try to incorporate these attitudes and behaviors into your daily life. This doesn't mean pretending to be someone you're not. It's about aligning yourself with the person you're becoming. It's about making decisions and taking actions that are consistent with being a wealthy person. One powerful way to live from the end is to make a gratitude list, as if your desire for wealth has already been fulfilled. Write down all the things you're grateful for now that you're wealthy. Thank the universe for your financial freedom, for your ability to help others, for the peace of mind that comes with financial security. Do this regularly, feeling the emotions of gratitude as you write. Another aspect of living from the end is to start making plans as if you're already wealthy. What would you do with your wealth? Maybe you'd start a charitable foundation, or invest in a particular business, or travel to certain places. Start researching these things. Make actual plans. This sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind that you're serious about your assumption of wealth. It's also important to pay attention to your language. A person who is truly wealthy doesn't constantly talk about wanting more money or worrying about bills. They might discuss investments or talk about how to use their wealth to make a difference. Start incorporating this kind of language into your conversations. Remember, living from the end doesn't mean ignoring your current financial responsibilities. You still need to pay your bills and manage your current finances wisely. But you do these things with the attitude of someone who knows that greater wealth is on its way. Living from the end also involves letting go of the how. Many people get stuck because they can't figure out how they're going to become wealthy. But when you're truly living from the end, you trust that the how will take care of itself. Your job is to maintain the assumption of wealth and to be open to opportunities as they present themselves. This step of living from the end can feel challenging at first. It might feel like you're pretending or being inauthentic. But remember, you're not trying to fool anyone. You're aligning yourself with the reality you want to create. With practice, it will start to feel more natural. The third step in applying the law of assumption is to persist in your assumption. This is where many people stumble. It's relatively easy to assume wealth for a day or two, but to create real change, you need to maintain this assumption consistently over time. Persistence is key because it takes time for your assumption to fully sink into your subconscious mind and manifest in your physical reality. It's like planting a seed. You don't plant a seed one day and expect to see a fully grown tree the next. You need to water it, give it sunlight, and most importantly, Give it time to grow. So how do you persist in your assumption of wealth? First, make it a daily practice. Set aside time each day to reinforce your assumption. This could be through visualization, affirmations, or simply feeling the emotion of being wealthy. Make it as much a part of your routine as brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. It's also important to persist even when your physical reality doesn't seem to match your assumption yet. This is where many people give up. They assume wealth for a week or two, and when they don't see immediate results, they conclude it doesn't work. But remember, you're working with universal laws here. Change doesn't always happen overnight. During this process, you might face doubts or negative thoughts. This is normal. The key is not to fight these thoughts or get discouraged by them. Instead, gently redirect your focus back to your assumption of wealth. Think of it like training a puppy. When it wanders off, you don't get angry, you simply guide it back to where it should be. One effective way to persist in your assumption is to keep a journal. Each day, write as if you are already wealthy. Describe your day, your thoughts, your feelings from the perspective of your wealthy self. This not only helps reinforce your assumption, but also gives you a record of your journey that you can look back on. Another helpful technique is to create reminders of your assumption. This could be as simple as setting alerts on your phone with positive affirmations about wealth. Or you could create a vision board with images that represent the wealthy life you're assuming. Place it somewhere you'll see it often. Persistence also means being consistent in your actions. Continue to make decisions and take actions that align with your assumption of wealth. This might mean continuing to educate yourself about finance and investing, networking with successful people, or exploring new business opportunities. Remember, persistence doesn't mean being rigid or stressed. It's about maintaining a relaxed confidence in your assumption. It's about trusting the process, even when you can't see the results yet. Think of it like a farmer who plants his crops. He doesn't stand over the field every day, stressed and wondering if the seeds will grow. He trusts in the process, knowing that if he's done his part, the harvest will come in due time. It's also important to be patient with yourself during this process. You might have days where it's easier to maintain your assumption and days where it's more challenging. This is normal. The key is to keep coming back to your assumption no matter what. Persisting in your assumption also means being open to how wealth might come to you. Sometimes, opportunities for wealth might not look like what you expected. Be open to new ideas, new connections, and new ways of doing things. Your assumption of wealth is setting things in motion, but the exact path to wealth might surprise you. Common mistakes to avoid. As you work with the law of assumption to attract wealth, it's important to be aware of some common pitfalls that can slow down your progress. By understanding these mistakes, you can avoid them and make your journey to wealth smoother and more effective. One of the biggest mistakes people make is inconsistency. They might assume wealth for a day or two, then slip back into old patterns of thinking about lack and limitation. Remember, the law of assumption works through consistent application. It's not enough to assume wealth only when you're feeling good or motivated. You need to maintain your assumption even on challenging days. Another common mistake is focusing too much on the how. Many people get stuck trying to figure out exactly how they'll become wealthy. They want a step-by-step plan before they'll fully commit to their assumption. But the law of assumption doesn't work that way. Your job is to assume the end result, being wealthy. The how will unfold naturally as you maintain your assumption. Some people also make the mistake of constantly checking for results. They assume wealth for a week, then start looking for signs that it's working. When they don't see immediate changes, they get discouraged and give up. This is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it's growing. Give your assumption time to take root and manifest. Another mistake is letting current circumstances shake your faith. You might assume wealth, but then a bill arrives or an unexpected expense comes up, and you let it derail your assumption. Remember, your current circumstances are the result of past thoughts and assumptions. Keep your focus on your new assumption of wealth, regardless of what's happening around you. Some people also make the mistake of talking about their desires and goals with people who don't understand or support them. This can lead to doubt and negativity that can undermine your assumption. It's often better to keep your practice to yourself, at least in the beginning. Another common pitfall is trying to control every aspect of how wealth will come to you. You might assume you'll get wealthy through a specific job or business idea, but by doing this, you're limiting the ways in which wealth can flow to you. Stay open to all possibilities. Lastly, many people make the mistake of not taking inspired action. They assume wealth, but then continue with their same old habits and behaviors. While the law of assumption is powerful, it still requires you to act on the opportunities and ideas that come your way as a result of your new assumption. To truly understand the power of the law of assumption in attracting wealth, it can be helpful to look at some real-life success stories. These examples show how people have used this principle to transform their financial lives. Take the story of Sarah, a single mother who was struggling to make ends meet. She discovered the law of assumption and decided to apply it to her financial situation. Every day, she took time to assume that she was financially secure and abundant. She visualized herself easily paying her bills, saving money, and even taking vacations with her children. At first, nothing seemed to change, but Sarah persisted in her assumption. She started noticing small shifts, an unexpected refund here, a good deal there. Then she got an idea for a side business that aligned with her skills and passions. As she pursued this idea, still maintaining her assumption of wealth, her business began to grow. Within a year, her income had doubled, and she was well on her way to the financial security she had assumed. Then there's the story of Michael, a recent college graduate burdened with student loans. He began applying the law of assumption, believing and feeling that he was financially free. He visualized himself making his last loan payment and celebrated that feeling of freedom. As he persisted in this assumption, he found himself becoming more creative and productive at work. His performance improved, leading to a promotion and a significant raise. But the real breakthrough came when he had an innovative idea that solved a major problem for his company. This led to an even bigger promotion and a bonus that allowed him to pay off his loans years ahead of schedule. Another inspiring example is Lisa, a small business owner who was just getting by. She started assuming abundance in all areas of her business. She visualized her business thriving, with a steady stream of clients and increasing profits. As she maintained this assumption, she noticed she was making decisions with more confidence. She started attracting better clients and bigger projects. Ideas for expanding her services came to her, and as she implemented them, her business grew. Within 2 years, her business had tripled in size, and she was earning more than she ever thought possible. These stories show that the law of assumption can work for anyone in any financial situation. The key is to persist in your assumption, even when your current reality doesn't seem to match up. As you maintain your assumption of wealth, you'll find that opportunities and ideas begin to flow to you, leading you to the financial abundance you desire. As we wrap up our exploration of the law of assumption and its power to unlock wealth, let's recap the key points we've covered. We've learned that our assumptions shape our reality, and by consciously choosing to assume wealth, we can begin to attract it into our lives. We started by understanding the teachings of Neville Goddard, who introduced the world to the law of assumption. We learned that this law is about more than just positive thinking. It's about fully embodying the state of being wealthy in our thoughts, feelings, and actions. We've explored the 3 key steps to applying the law of assumption: believing you already have it, living from the end, and persisting in your assumption. Each of these steps is crucial in reprogramming your mind and aligning yourself with the wealth you desire. We've also looked at common mistakes to avoid, such as inconsistency, focusing too much on the how, and letting current circumstances shake your faith. By being aware of these pitfalls, you can navigate around them and maintain your assumption more effectively. The success stories we've shared demonstrate that the law of assumption can work for anyone, regardless of their current financial situation. These real-life examples show that with persistence and faith, significant financial transformations are possible. Remember, applying the law of assumption to attract wealth is not about ignoring your current financial responsibilities or making reckless decisions. It's about shifting your mindset, opening yourself up to new possibilities, and aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the wealthy person you want to become. As you move forward from here, I encourage you to start applying these principles in your own life. Begin with small steps. Set aside time each day to visualize and feel your desired financial state. Pay attention to your thoughts about money and consciously replace negative assumptions with positive ones. Start making decisions and taking actions as if you were already wealthy. Be patient with yourself in this process. Change doesn't always happen overnight, but with consistent application of the law of assumption, you can begin to see shifts in your financial reality. Stay open to the ways in which wealth might come to you. It may arrive through unexpected channels or opportunities. Remember, the power to change your financial reality lies within you. Your assumptions create your world, so choose them wisely. Assume wealth, abundance, and financial freedom, and watch as your external world begins to align with your inner assumptions. The journey to wealth through the law of assumption is not just about accumulating money. It's about becoming the person who naturally attracts and maintains wealth. It's about growing, expanding, and stepping into a new version of yourself. So, are you ready to unlock the wealth that's waiting for you? Start assuming your way to financial abundance today. The power is in your hands, or more accurately, in your mind. Assume wealth, live as if you're already wealthy, and persist in this assumption. Your financial future is waiting to be shaped by the power of your assumptions.